Fourth grade, we are skipping another lesson. You might notice in your table of contents, we're going from 16 to 18. Today we're on Module 1, Lesson 18, and today we are focusing on multi-step word problems. And we're going beyond even 2 steps. We're going to be doing problems with 3 steps and 4 steps in them as well. Whenever you're ready, we're going to find that next blank page and start our notes. But if you need to pause this video and put in your entry, pause this video right now before I start our lesson. Before we get started with our lesson today, I'm going to have you make a correction on your objective. Right now it reads, I can solve multi-step word problems using the subtraction algorithm. And that's true, you are going to be using your subtraction algorithm, but you'll also be using your addition algorithm as well. So in this blank space, in the tiniest and neatest letters I can, I'm going to include the words and addition. And if I fall into this box right here, that's okay. It's just important for me to know when I look back at this lesson that I did both subtraction and addition algorithms. If you need to pause the video to write the words and addition, do that now. If you're ready, let's look at our directions. Today, we're going to have 2 word problems. It's our job to draw a tape diagram to represent each problem. We're going to use the numbers to solve and write our answer as a statement. So basically, they're asking us to read, draw, then write. RDW. Let's look at problem number 1. There were 22,869 children, 49,563 men, and 2,872 more women than men at the fair. How many people were at the fair? Before I can check off read, I need to mark up my problem. Remember, if you want to be a beast at word problems, you got to start off as a cub. C is for circling our numbers in units. 22,869 children. 49,563 men, 2,872 more women. After I circle my numbers, I underline my question. And they were so kind to give us a question mark that it's really easy for us to spot. How many people were at the fair? That's our task. Finally, I'm going to box those math action words that give us clues. There were 22,869 children, 49,563 men, and 2,872 more women than men at the fair. How many people were at the fair? And the word people is also important because men, children, and women are all people. So we know that we're going to have to be adding and combining to find how many people. Now that we've read, let's draw. We have our tape diagrams laid out for us already. The C stands for children, so let's label how many children were at the fair. 22,869. We also know how many men were at the fair. There was 49,563 men. We don't know how many women there were, but we do know that there was 2,872 more women, extra women, than men. So what they're saying is that women was the same amount as men, plus another 2,872. So for this first part of my tape diagram, I'm going to label it the same as I did for my men's tape diagram. Our job is to figure out how many people there are in total. Now, I already know some groups of people, but not all. I don't know how many groups of people were in our women category. So I'm going to add up these 2 numbers, 49,563 plus 2,872. When I add or subtract, it's important for me to put my larger number at the top. It doesn't matter the order when I add, but it's always helpful to put my larger number at top because, for example, in this number, 2,872 has less digits, less place values than 49,563. If I stack my larger number on top, it's easier for me to line up my place values and add them accurately. If we use our standard algorithm, let's practice drawing our vertical lines to separate our place values. And we'll start in the ones place. 3 plus 2 equals 5. 6 plus 7 equals 13, so I'm going to regroup 1 extra 100. 5 plus 8 is 13, plus 1 more equals 4. I've regrouped my extra 1,000. 9 plus 2 is 11, plus 1 more is 12. 4 plus 1 equals 5. 1, 2, 3, whee! That means in total, there was 52,435 women at the fair. So I'm going to put underneath our tape diagram 52,435 for our women. Remember, this is a multi-step word problem, so I'm not done just because I've done a step. I need to figure out how many there are in total, which means I need to add our children to our men to our women. I know many of you like to stack all three numbers and add them all in a row, but when I stack all three numbers, that really opens up the invitation for lots of calculation errors. So let's pick 2 numbers at a time to add, and then we'll add 1 more number afterwards. Let's start with our larger numbers and work our way down to our smaller ones. So let's start by adding the amount of women at the fair. 52,435 to the amount of men at the fair. 49,563. Five plus 3 is 8. 3 plus 6 is 9. 4 plus 5 is 9. 2 plus 9 is 11. 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. 1, 2, 3, whee! So far, I've added my men, and I've added my women, but I still need to add my children to that total. So I'm going to take my number I just added, and I'm going to add the 22,000 children, 869. Notice that there's no 100,000s in the number of children I have, so it's really important that I stack my place values over each other accurately. 8 plus 9 is 17. 9 plus 6 is 15, plus 1 more is 16. 9 plus 8 is 17, plus 1 more is 18. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 1 more is 4. 0 plus 2 is 2. 1 plus nothing is 1. 1, 2, 3, whee! In total, 124,867 people attended the fair. I drew my problem, I wrote my problem, so I finished problem 1, and it's time for me to get another practice at a multi-step problem with problem number 2. Let's start by reading it together. A is 4,676. B is 10,043 greater than A. C is 2,610 less than B. What is the total value of numbers A, B, and C? Now that I've read it out loud, let's mark it up using cub. circling my numbers. A is 4,676. B is 10,043 greater than A. C is 2,610 less than B. What is the total value of the numbers A, B, and C? I'm going to underline my question, which they marked with a handy dandy question mark for us. And now I'm going to box my math action words. A is 4,676. B is 10,043 greater than A. That doesn't mean that B is 10,043. It means that B is 10,043 more than A. Good to know. C is 2,610 less than B. Greater than gives us a clue that we'll be doing some addition. Less than is giving us a clue that we're doing some subtraction. What is the total value of numbers A, B, and C? Total means that we're going to have to combine by adding all three together once we figure out what they are. So let's start with the information that we know on our tape diagram. We know how much A is. A is 4,676. B is 10,043 greater than A, which means it's the same as A plus an additional 10,043. C is 2,610 less than B. We can't plug anything into here yet because we can't take away from a number if we don't even know what it is yet. First, we have to figure out what B is altogether so that we can take away 2,610 to figure out what C is. So let's start with step number 1. We're going to add these two numbers together to figure out how much B is worth. Like I mentioned before, when I'm doing addition, I want to get into the habit of taking my larger number and putting it at the top of my standard algorithm. So I'm going to start by putting 10,043 on the top and adding 4,676 below it. I'm drawing lines to separate my place values. 3 plus 6 equals 9. 4 plus 7 equals 11. I need to regroup to make a new 100. 0 plus 6 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. 0 plus 4 is 4, and 1 plus nothing is 1. 1, 2, 3, whee! So we're slowly figuring out what these numbers represent. We know A equals 4,676. And now we know that B equals 14,719. But it's our job to figure out what C is next. And all we know is that it's less than B by 2,610. So instead of adding, I'm going to subtract 2,610. And I'm going to stretch down those place value lines. Remember, if there's more on the top, there's no need to stop. And what I love about this subtraction sentence is that there is more on the top in every place value. So there's no need to stop all the way down. 9 minus 0 is 9. 1 take away 1 is 0. 7 take away 6 is 1. 4 take away 2 is 2. 1 take away nothing is 1. 1, 2, 3, whee! Which means that C is 12,109. Whew! We've already done some work, but remember, this is a multi-step problem with even more steps. We have to make sure we refer back to our question to know if we've done the job. And the job is asking us, what is the total value of A, B, and C? So we're not done yet. We have to add these three numbers together. Remember, if we stack all three in a row and add it all at once, it's gonna get messy. So let's start by just adding two at a time. And let's start with our larger numbers. So B and C are larger. So let's add those together first. B is the largest, so I'll put that one at the top. Making sure I'm really careful about lining up my place values. Nine plus 9 is 18. 1 plus 1 more is 2. 7 plus 1 is 8. 4 plus 2 is 6. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1, 2, 3, whee! All right, I've added B. I've added C. Let's go back and let's add A to find our total. So I'm going to extend my number sentence even more. And I'm going to add A, which is 4,676. I'm really glad I drew my place value lines because that helps me know that I have less place values in 4,676 than the number on top. 8 plus 6 equals 14. I'm not going to include this regrouped number. I'm going to start at the 2. 2 plus 7 equals 9, and 9 plus 1 more is 10. 8 plus 6 equals 14. 14 plus 1 equals 15. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 1, 2, 3. Whee! Now that I've added all three numbers, the total value of A, B, and C are 31,504. I've read my problem, I drew my problem, and I wrote my answer as a statement.